to start with my guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore, and even though he's got that M on his hat, he's covering Wisconsin today.
Yeah.
What's up, Alex?
Yeah. As an offensive lineman, I got mad respect for the Badgers, just constantly pouring out offensive line, and just mad respect for them as one of the Big Ten powerhouses. So, I chose Wisconsin. Their record last year was 9-4. They won the Las Vegas Bowl over ASU. Their key returning players, obviously quarterback Graham Mertz, was not very good last year. Had a 59.5 completion percentage. Threw for 1,958 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. So definitely needs to improve on those. They don't really have anybody behind him to take over, so he's their guy, unless they get somebody transferring throughout the summer, but expect him to be the guy there. The star for this team, the big name player, he's already in Heisman talks. It's running back Braylon Allen. He played in 12 of the 13 games last year, started only 9, but he had 186 carries for 1,268 yards and 12 touchdowns. Not really a receiving guy. Had 8 catches for 39 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't fumble the ball last year. So expect him to run behind that offensive line. They've got 3 returning offensive linemen. Last year's right guard, Jack Nelson, is a sophomore. He's now going to left tackle. They've got their right tackle returning, senior Tyler Beach, and their center in junior Joe Tippmann. So your outside guys and your center are locked in, returning this year. Receivers a little thin. Their number 3 receiver jumps up to number 1 in Chimere DK. Only had 19 receptions for 272 yards and a touchdown. So there's a lot up for grabs there. They've got 2 freshmen coming in. I believe Skylar Bell, and I can't remember the other name. But there's tons of receptions up for grabs there. The defense is going to be in rough shape to start. They're replacing 8 starters, including the entire secondary. Wow. The key players returning there. You've got Nate Herbig, who's going to be one of the top edge rushers in the draft next year. Had 9 sacks and a forced fumble last year. He's really good off the edge. Had it not been for Hutchinson and Ojaba last year, he was the top edge rusher in the Big Ten. Nose tackle Keanu Benton is a senior. He's going to lead that front 3. And then all 3 corners that are supposed to get the majority of the playing time this year are all transferring in. You've got Justin Clark from Toledo. I believe he's a grad transfer. He's played 47 games, 18 starts. Not afraid to tackle. He's got 115 tackles, 4 of them for loss. He's got 4 picks and 16 breakups. We got Cedric Dort Jr. from Kentucky. He's another grad transfer. 51 tackles, 7 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. No picks or anything, though. And then we've got Jay Shaw from UCLA. 16 starts in 43 games, 88 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 12 pass breakups. So there's your ball hawk guy. Your lockdown corner of sorts. The breakout guy for the safeties to me is Hunter Wohler. He was a 4-star recruit. He's kind of worked his way into the lineup. I think this is going to be his breakout year. This coaching staff is ridiculous. Head coach Paul Christ has been there 7 years. He's 65-23. He's 43-16 in conference play. 6-1 in bowl games. He's won the Western Division 3 times. He hasn't won the Big Ten championship yet. But them along with Iowa kind of own that Western Division.
Yep.
And mainly because of that defense and defensive coordinator Jim Leonard. It's his 6th year as the Badgers defensive coordinator. Always leads one of the top 10, top 5 defenses in the country. They're always up there in points allowed and yards allowed. And they're always pumping out pass rushers and safeties. And they're a phenomenal defense year in and year out. The interesting one, though, is they got a new offensive coordinator. They got Bobby Engerman. He spent the last 8 years with the Ravens in the NFL working on – the first 3 years was working with receivers. and the last 5 working with tight ends. So he's helped Mark Andrews develop, and Nick Boyle and Hayden Hurst, like a lot of these guys that are getting quite a bit of playing time and doing quite well with it in the NFL. And he's got the connection with Paul Christ, worked with him at Pitt University in 2012, 2013. As far as how I think this season's going to go, kind of around the same as what they were last year. They're going to be like 9-3 or 10-2 after conference play and after the regular season. I think your only losses are going to come to some of these other Big Ten powerhouses, whether it's Iowa, whether it's one of these Eastern teams. I think they're only going to lose a couple games this year.
I can dig that. Oh yeah. I'm interested to see what they do, especially with that running back out of the backfield. I think honestly, we already know they always have some premier running because that O line is so solid. I was watching a clip the other day. I think I sent you guys of Melvin Gordon when he did what he did. You know what I mean? So they always have
Jonathan Taylor and Monte Ball and
going down the list. Back to Ron Dane back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
loved Ron Dane.
Right? Yeah. You know, they always have a dominant run game, and they're always in contention, like you said. They in that part of the Big Ten, it's them and it's Iowa. You know what I mean? And the same kind of hard-nosed football. So I'm eager to see what they do this year. Thank you for that. I like that.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.